And sustained. Following amendment, clerk will read the amendment.
Amendment by Schatzline.
Chair asks Mr. Schatzline to explain the amendment. Mr. Kane, for what purpose?
This is a question for the author.
The gentleman yield for questions.
I will yield for questions.
He yields for questions.
So, Schatzline, just checking out your amendment here. Most of us were shocked and horrified by the brutal terrorist attacks on the people of Israel on October 7th. Is it true that anti-Semitic protests happened all across the nation last year?
That is true, and that's actually the reason that we're bringing this amendment, because it would exclude those who want to participate in anti-Semitic protests to get this scholarship.
Yeah. Now, I recognize that the University of Texas, may have gotten pressured to not allow those protests, but I've also seen news stories that say that there were teachers and professors actually encouraging that kind of behavior. Did you know about that?
I did know about that. I also know it created an environment where all across the country, Jewish students said they didn't even feel safe to enter into a classroom, much less show up to a campus. And so I think this is a real problem. I think we have to raise up teachers who are going to educate and are not going to indoctrinate their students into anti-Semitic ideologies.
Okay, so just to be clear, kind of the goal, right, is that this would ensure that we don't perpetuate the rapid growth of discrimination by not allowing Texas taxpayer dollars to be used to subsidize this kind of hate. Is that what we're doing here?
That's exactly right.
It's a great amendment. I look forward to voting for it.
Thank you. Move passage.
Mr.
Speaker,
for what purpose?
will the gentleman yield for questions?
Gentleman yield for questions.
I will yield for
Gentleman
questions.
yields for questions.
It was about a month after October 7th when I was asked by the Israeli embassy to come to Washington, D.C. and to see iPro footage of what the terrorists did to the people of Israel. And we had to sign non-disclosure agreements and non-hold harmless agreements because of the traumatic events of what we were about to see, the rapes, the beheadings. It was chronicled. All of it was chronicled. What was equally as mortifying was to see what was going on in college campuses across the United States as students, on behalf of Palestinians, caused Jewish students to live in fear for their lives. What could compel kids across the United States and here in Texas to react the way they reacted to Jewish students? Can you answer that?
Representative Toth, I don't know that I have that exact answer. I think it's a combination, whether it be through social media, it could also be through teachers and people in places of authority that have perpetuated this evil lie that when they say that Jewish people are evil or that Jewish people are coming against people, and I think this is something we have to nip in the bud. I don't think there's any room or place for anti-Semitism in America today.
How can we see the Jewish people as oppressors and Palestinians as oppressed when the Jewish people have lived under persecution for over 2 centuries and have been oppressed wherever they have gone and have lived in fear for their mortal lives in the land of Israel as they've been oppressed on all sides by Sunnis and Shias?
Yeah, and I think, Representative Toth, I hear what you're saying completely, and I think ultimately what this amendment would do is ensuring that students who are Jewish on these campuses are going to feel safe knowing that we're not raising up teachers that are going to have anti-Semitic ideologies being taught inside the classroom.
Thank you for your amendment. I look
Thank you.
forward to supporting it.
Thank you. I move passage.
Mr. Speaker,
Ms. Wiener, for what purpose?
will the gentleman yield for
The
questions?
gentleman yield for questions.
Absolutely, I will.
Representative Schatzline, the right to freedom of speech and the right to assemble are bedrock principles of our Constitution, are they not?
They absolutely are.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes, Ms. Wiener, for what purpose?
I raise a point of order under Rule 11, Section 2, that the amendment is not germane.
Bring your point of order down.